What's good, y'all, and welcome to another vid. Your boy right here would like to pretend that he hasn't ever seen these heroes before and that it's all brand new and the like, though I just accidentally deleted my own footage, so I have to re-record. We have two new heroes. Big Boy, the World Eater. What kind of name is this? Ezareth. And then, where is she? Velisse. Velisse, the Uncoiled Desire. So on the note of how Velisse looks, I would say she's basically like a gender swapped Loki, or maybe Loki just gender swapped himself, right? If you think about Nordic mythology, whatever. The game plan is pretty simple. We'll go through the kit of Velisse, we'll go through the kit of Ezareth, and we'll have a look at the synergy between the two of them, because that synergy is strong as hell. First off though, you know what I like, I know what you like, so let's go into the trailer. Alright people, so as you might have seen it, she has a trailer, right? But she's also part of a banner. So it's pretty much the devs going all out on a, you could say, Halloween hero this time around in Velisse, the Uncoiled Desire. So let's quickly talk about her. First off, you have this normal standard mage range. Let me actually lower the sounds a little bit. You'll be able to hear his voice lines and the like, but we don't want to lose our ears in the process, do we? So we have 10,400 HP, 4,200 attack, and then we have, again, really high magic resistance because she's a mage, you could say, huh? I mean, she's a mage. She has AoE, magic attack, ally buff, and summons as the capability, and as you might have already seen it right here around her arm, and as you've seen it from the trailer, what she's gonna summon is snakes. So we have one of the shortest talents in quite a while, and that is the hero and the serpentine spirits. Serpentine spirits are her summons. Inflict magic rest reduction at 25% and slow at 25%. Now, serpentine spirits attack enemies within 2 tiles or in the master's attack range. There's actually a difference between the two, and they can attack up to 15 times, which each time dealing 300% AoE damage, so up to 900% AoE damage to up to 5 enemies. When the attacks are exhausted, the serpentine spirit stops attacking and becomes inactive, and then they just die after 15 seconds. If Ezareth is on the field, the other hero, the serpentine spirits will go out of their way to move towards them. It can only exist up to 5 serpentine spirits at any time. So let's talk basic attack. Basic attack is AoE damage up to 5 enemies. Death blow. Targets hit by serpentine spirit take increased damage from serpentine spirits. So after 5 hits, serpentine spirits are dealing 30% more damage to their target. Then when a serpentine spirit naturally perishes, increases the caster's attack by 2%. So after they shoot their shots, they stand still and then they go poof. If a serpentine spirit doesn't naturally perish, increases by 4%. If you want to put your guesses down below what you think Ezareth does, because it has pretty much to do with this. Then next up we have the Veil of Deceit. You summon 3 serpentine spirits in attack range, lasts permanently. What that means is, so long as the serpentine spirits do not attack 15 times, they are going to chill forever, right? Here you can see a showcase of how the spirits look. Serpentine spirits will support other attacking summoned units on the field after stopping attacks for 4 seconds. So I think they can just move to other summoned units on the field after nothing is in Velisse's range. So that's her kit. Let's briefly, really quickly go through the awakenings. They are pretty attainable. So you have her right here. I mean, define attainable, right? But Serpentine Spirit's attack has a 10% chance of inflicting stun. It depends. If you need the CC, you need the CC. If you don't need the CC, it's not as important. Then the A3 Serpentine Spirits gain 2 extra attacks when killing an enemy up to once every 20 seconds. So you can go up to 17 attacks per summon, and then potentially up to 19, 21, 23, 25 if everything is timed well and they kill with a 20-second distance in between. And then we have a A5. When the Serpentine Spirit naturally perishes, restores 10% HP to the Master and grants a 10% damage increase. See, you'll see it in just a couple seconds, but this might be the first A5 in the game that, if paired with their proper partner, is useless, like unusable. But hey, you'll see it. So, we have the big boy. So, just for like a size comparison, alright? This is Valderon. And this is Ezareth. He is more buff, more chunky, more intimidating than damn Valderon. But he also looks a bit like a bug in his face. So I guess it depends. So he is a Lord. He's going to be Ancient exclusive. So Ancient exclusive Lord, 3rd Chaos Lord we've seen up to date. And what he does is kind of nasty. So first off, let's have a look at stats. He is a AoE magic attacker, ally buffer, and he has strong CC. He has 20,000 HP and 5,100 attack at 3,350 defense. His attack is decent, or really high for what he does. Let's not say decent, okay? So, talent. Specializes in draining a life force from the weak and converting it into dark spores to aid the caster in battle. When deployed, he enters the World Destroyer mode and gains 2 stacks. Dark spores are just stacks that stack up to 5 times, and whenever he has them, he becomes immune to most debuffs. Important, it's not like an aura most debuffs and buffs, it's just debuffs. So the World Destroyer mode is a mode of focused combat. If he has at least 1 stack of Dark Spores, he consumes it to deal 430% AoE damage to up to 10 enemies. This can happen every 5 seconds, and he gains these Dark Spores. For example, when he is deployed, he gains 2 of them. Now we're going to start with something else before we get into the rest of the kit, and that is, he is Ingrid-esque. He is Ingrid-like. He is like an Ingrid if she was only AoE. He doesn't have any real single target capabilities. You can probably still run him for single target content if you like his design, but it's just not kind of meant to be, if that makes sense. But the World Destroyer mode is mode 1, and the World Devourer mode is mode 2. So World Devourer mode, what does it do? A mode of focused recovery. When the dark spores aren't at full stack, so less than 5, you can devour 1 allied summon in the basic attack range, or 1 enemy with an HP of 50% or below. Doesn't work against elites. He's like Gluttony. He basically ate Gluttony, okay? He ate Gluttony. And then he restores 35% of his HP. Damn, flat out, straight up, easy like that. And then he gains a stack. After devouring an allied summon, he additionally gains another stack and takes 2 seconds to trigger again. So it can take him 2 seconds to get 2 stacks. So 4 seconds, 4 stacks should he eat summons. After devouring an enemy, it takes 10 seconds to trigger again. So you want him to eat summons rather than you want him to eat enemies. Now, why does that make sense? Why is that important? Let's go quickly back to Velisse just so you kind of like get the synergy. It's about this last line. These serpentine spirits, after stopping to attack, move towards him. They move to his position. They sacrifice themselves as fodder for big guy right here. Another summoner that is absolutely incredible, or is going to go really well with her, with him, has to be Beatrix. You can then run a Beatrix with him, and he can also run or eat Beatrix's summons. Now, what else does he do? 120% AoE damage to up to 8 enemies with one of the weirdest ranges we've ever seen in war? Sure, 2 tiles to the front, 1 to the sides, and then 2 to the front from the sides. Wow. And then we also have the Dinner Bell. World Destroyer mode, it also inflicts 25% magic vulnerability on the targets and executes enemies with HP below 30%. Sure, right? Like, why not add in 30% extra, 30% execute to the special attack, which is just the AoE attack of the World Destroyer mode. And then here you have the, when carrying Darkspores, you increase your attack and damage reduction by 20%. It is not based on how many you have, just that you have any. When you trigger the Valderon mode, you deal 200% AoE damage to up to 8 enemies around the target and inflict stun. If the target is, if the devoured target is an allied summon, you restore 5% to that summoner. So for example, Velisse, for example, Beatrix, and should they be of the curse cult, they get an additional 10. So Velisse, every time a summon gets eaten, get 15%. Beatrix also gains 15%. Awakenings. Alright. So the awakenings are, when World Destroyer mode special attack is triggered, increases AoE damage by 15% for the hero and all allied mages on the field, is what it does, but we actually need to look at the Lord skill. So, the Lord skill is also an absolute banger, probably strongest in the game there is. Forbidden Knowledge 3 increases faction team members' attributes by 15%, so far so standard. Slow stun, freeze, immobilize state, other CC effects 30%, we know that. Increases faction team members' damage by 25%, period. Straight up 25% damage increase, and when he's on the battlefield and an allied summon dies, either by getting eaten from him, them expiring, or if they can get killed, if they get killed, right? Increases all faction team members' damage by an additional 5%, which means my guy caps out at a ridiculous 40% damage increase on top of the 30% damage to slow frozen CC'd enemies with the 15% stat buff. Damn. Alright. When World Destroyer mode special attack is triggered, increases AoE damage by 15% for the hero and all allied mages on the field for 8 seconds, right? So whenever you swap into the offensive mode, mages also become stronger. Then we have the 5% AoE damage plus the basic stats. Every second or every 2 triggers of Valderon mode grants an extra 1 stack of Darkspores, allowing you to get more Darkspores, allowing you to get into the stage, into the enhanced state faster. And then right here we have the World Destroyer mode's special attack ignores 25% magic resistance. Are we getting Ingrid flashbacks? We should be getting Ingrid flashbacks. So overall, the way that you might have already seen before, the way I would describe them is this might just be Ingrid 2.0, not in the way Ingrid works, but you get what I mean. And then we here have a summon factory. So summoners are back on the menu, summoners look stronger than ever, and at least Ezareth is not gonna eat a Nora summon anytime soon, because it says it has a exclusion towards special summons, if I'm correct. Right? Like, let's see. Valderon mode. There was one allied summon. I think I've read it somewhere that he can't just eat a Nora summon, because otherwise she would be kind of useless. Alright, yeah, showcase the more we can get closer to these units and we had some time to play around with them. Though for now, these kits are absolutely disgusting.